There we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Senate. Thank you for being here, whether you're joining us in person or online. We'll now begin with introductions, names, positions, pronouns, and answering the question of the day, which is if I give you a tomato, what will you do with it? I'll start. My name is Lee Lopez-Duboff, Senate Seat 8, DFC, and Speaker. If I had a tomato, I would probably make sauce.
Saucer. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Kika Chiapaku. I am the ASUO Vice President, and I use she, her pronouns. If I were given a tomato, I would probably make bruschetta. Yeah. Question mark.
Hi, my name is Marisol Peters. I'm PFC Senate Seat 2. If Talik gave me a tomato, if it was an heirloom, I would do it. Did make bruschetta, and if it was like a Roma or a paste tomato, I would make pizza sauce.
Hi,
my name is Eleanor Potter, Senate Seat 6. I would probably make a caprese sandwich.
Hello all, my name is Jordan Ackman, Senate Seat 7, CFC. I would probably put it in the vegetable / fruit bowl in my house.
Hello, Moreno. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 10, DFC, and Senate Treasurer. And I'm a very sentimental person, so if you give me anything, I'll keep it forever. So I would keep it as a pet for as long as I do.
Hi guys, my name is Jess Fisher. I use any pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 11, Academic Senate. I think that if you gave me a tomato, I would eat it, and then I would take the seeds, and then I would plant tomato plants.
Hello, I'm Rachel Withers. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 12. And if you give me a tomato, I would send my friends down the Willamette in a tube and then try to hit them with the tomato off the bridge.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ramirez Panetta. I use she, her pronouns, and I am Senate Seat 13. And if I were given a tomato, I think I'd make some pico de gallo or something like that.
Good day, y'all. My name is Jubu Nagarajan, Senate Seat 14. If you gave me a tomato, I would take a fat pie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joanne Wu, she, her pronouns, Senate Seat 15. If I was given a tomato, I would put it in a little container, give it as a pie position, and put it on my table next to my bed. Hi, everyone. My name is Bella Esbeck. I use she, her pronouns, Senate Seat 16, and the chair of the academic committee. And soon to stole my answer, I would also get a bag out of it and eat it on the spot.
Everyone, I'm Fran Keixler, her pronouns, Senate Seat 17. If you gave me a tomato, I'd probably give it away to someone else who likes tomato.
What's up, squad? Happy Wednesday. My name is Liz Scro, she, her pronouns, Senate Seat 18, School of Journalism and Communication. I put tomatoes on everything. I like to dice them into 4 little things, make them little slices. And especially the little heirloom tomatoes. The multicolored one from Trader Joe's. Yeah, eat that shit up. And I put it on everything.
Jamie. Hi everyone, Jamie Dillon, Senate Seat 19, and if Talik gave me a tomato, I would throw it at him.
Hi, my name is Erin Fluman, she, her pronouns, Senate Seat 20. And I think I'm also going to go on the route of throwing it. That just sounds really fun. Maybe I'll see if my dog catches the tomato. I hope there's no poison in it.
I love a tomato.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rain, Senate Seat 21, undefined major, any pronouns. And I think if Talik gave me a tomato, I would probably cut it up. Well, it also depends on if it's the beginning of the season when tomatoes are still good, they are still a treat, then I would cut it up and put it on cheese with fresh mozzarella with the ones from Trader Joe's with olive oil and garlic.
and basil. And if it was like August, late September, and there was just too many tomatoes, I would probably bury it. Sorry.
Sharp.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Sharm, he, him pronouns, Senate seat 23. I represent graduate students in the College of Design and College of Arts and Sciences. And if I was given a tomato, I would put it in my fridge and say that I definitely use it until it was like 3 weeks later, and then I couldn't use it anymore. I'd have to throw it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily. I am Senate seat 23, representing law students and other grad students, and probably the same as Andrew.
My name is Zoe Jenkins Cox. I represent first years in Senate seat 24. I use she, her pronouns, and if I had a tomato, I'd probably make tomato soup.
Hi guys, I'm Sierra. I'm the clerk, and I'm super allergic to tomatoes, so probably break out in hives and not be very well. Yeah. Hi, my name is Terry Gary. I'm Senate Deputy Speaker. I'm also PFC Chair, Senate Seat 1. I use she, her pronouns. And if you gave me a tomato, I would probably find a way into your house and like hide it somewhere, like in your bedroom or something, and like where you can't find it, and then just wait for it to rot, and maybe you would smell it or something. I hate tomatoes.
I also hate tomatoes. I don't really know why that was the question. Out of curiosity, how many of you think tomatoes are a vegetable? Okay. Fruit?
Technically.
Wow. Yeah, I know they're technically fruit. So okay, I trust this. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Do we have anyone?
What vegetables are you?
Do we have anyone today for the land?
The University of Oregon is located on the Kalapuya Lihi, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, Kalapuya descendants are primarily citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, to the lands now known as Oregon, and to the world. And following the Indigenous Protocol of acknowledging the original people of the land we occupy, we also extend our respect to the 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: the Burns Paiute Tribe, the Confederated Tribes of the Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Siuslaw Indians, the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquel Indian Tribe, the Cow Creek and Umpqua Tribe of Indians, and the Klamath Tribes. We express our respect to the many more tribes who have ancestral connections to this territory, including the Chinook Indian Nation, and Fort McDermott, Paiute, and Shoshone tribes, as well as all other displaced indigenous peoples who call Oregon home.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second, it's Grove. Motion made by Dylan, second, it's Sprout. Discussion. Opposed? Do you have anyone today for announcements?
How's it going?
Good.
Oh, thank you.
How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you. Yeah, so last Wednesday, Augsburg students had our state lobby day in Salem. Over 40 students traveled to the Capitol to speak to legislators about our campaigns to advocate for the right to repair and food waste, tackle plastic pollution, and protect our oceans. We met with over 50 legislative offices in one day, and coming out of lobby day, our bill to ban all plastic bags in Oregon is out of committee. So it should have its second and third readings by the beginning of next week.
Also down on in that group of 40 plus people was Rains, which was super exciting. We also had our federal lobby day, which was February 21st to the 25th, where 4 students from the University
Oregon, traveled to Washington, D.C. on behalf of Augsburg students, and our team met with 7 of the 8 members of the Oregon delegation, as well as 3 members from Texas. So that was really cool. We talked about right to repair, clean energy tax credits, safer swimming, and affordable textbooks. Additionally, Sam, myself, and Riley, who's our campus relations chair, had the opportunity to attend our national students training, where we got to be with top students from all over the country. At NSQ, we had a discussion on the state of making social change in the US right now, received training on telling effective campaign stories, and built our organizational plans in the spring.
Yeah, and on Friday, all our students did an educational hike with an Oregon State Park manager to build visibility to improve our funding for state parks, which are really underfunded. 25 people joined for the hike, and we got to learn more about our state parks and all including a buzz campaign on social media.
Also on Friday, Augsburg students, yeah, that deserves a chuckle. Also on Friday, Augsburg students partnered up with Environment Oregon to do a photo petitioning for Save the Bees. We collected almost 300 the joke makes more sense now. We collected almost 300 photo petitions in 2 hours and submitted all of the photo petitions as written testimonies in support of the bill to save the bees in Oregon by restricting the use of some of the worst bee-killing pesticides in the state.
Yeah, and one more, our Pacific Northwest Regional Conference is this weekend in Astoria, Oregon. Talk about that next week. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? Any announcements? Come on up, Alex.
Virtually, members of the Senate. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Alex. I'm a campaign strategist with Partners for Free Oregon, back again. First of all, just wanted to celebrate the great success that was our public hearing last Thursday. We had 109 people come out, and virtually in person for testimony. So wanted to express a big heartfelt thank you to all of you that submitted written testimony or appeared in person or shared your story via Teams. Means a lot and it's going to really help us as we push through Ways and Means and hopefully get basic needs passed. Speaking of Ways and Means, this is a really critical time for legislation. Ways and Means is essentially the checkbook of the legislature, and they get to decide what goes and what dies. So if you're interested in helping out, please contact me or Brandon or anyone else from your team. But now is a very, very critical time, so lean in if you're going to. Taking off my partner's hat and speaking now as a student, I also wanted to call attention to the shared governance challenges that are happening at Oregon State University for your colleagues. Right now, the members of the Senate and Student Fee Committee there are being blocked by the administration from meeting, just as you are right now. And that's something that should be very concerning to all of you. It appears that there are parts of state law that are being broken around the IT process. And it's especially concerning when you consider that members of the Senate have been fired and are now being threatened with expulsion by the administration for attempting to organize the Senate meeting earlier in this week. So things are really going down over there, and they're going to need your support to, get this, the attention of legislators and tell them that the laws that they pass to protect student autonomy and shared governance are being trampled over by the administration, and even more importantly, that students care about their student government and protecting that, because if they get away with this over there, what's protecting you all over here? That's all.
Okay, great. We'll move into public forum. Do you have anyone? Come on up.
Hi, everyone. Oh, okay. Hello. So I wanted to come talk to you guys about an event that I've been planning with Oregon State University and other state university and other universities on campus that I think you all should come to because I work real hard with all of them. So basically, you all know that we have been lobbying a lot. There is a lot to lobby on. This is a very stressful year, and we as student government are supposed to be here for students. But that includes students that might not know how to lobby, and I'm sure many of you might not. I know I didn't last year up until this year, and even then at DC, I was still figuring it out with Julie and all of the people that were there. So basically, March 15th is a lobby day training session. Portland State University and OSU will be coming in person, as well as OSU Cascades. So this will also be a great opportunity if any of you want to talk with our partner schools and see what they're up to. There will also be some universities coming virtually. What this day will look like, it will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're gonna start off the day with Representative Hudson. He will be virtual and he will give some tips of what he thinks are beneficial things that you can do for lobbying. Then we're gonna have Joe Erickson come in to give a good presentation on, again, what lobbying looks like, do's and don'ts. Obviously, lobbying is unique to each person because all of you bring your unique stories, but there's sometimes a way to go about it that students find more comfortable. We will also have another presentation from a lot of the students who lobbied this weekend. I'm sure Talik and Kiki know we learned so much of what to do and what not to do, what was helpful, what was not helpful, and some of the things that worked and didn't. So we're gonna have people who didn't really know how to lobby tell you guys their experiences and what they learned. So yeah, and we'll have food there, so if you want to eat, show up. And then also, we're gonna break out into sessions with all of the other student governments and practice it. So if you want a chance to figure out how to do it and get some advice, come by. I will put the link in the chat. Please try to sign up soon because it is March 15th, and I want our Department of Student Engagement to have a good count of who's coming, just to make sure that we are, making the tables good to fit everybody. I think that's how to say it. I'm sorry, we just came back this morning. It's been a long day. But yeah, so does anyone have any, can they ask questions for public forum? Does anyone have any questions about this event? Yes. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be in Gerlinger Hall. If I'm saying it right. So it's gonna be cool. It's in the old alumni center. So it's like, I don't know. I thought it'd be like them to see that. Yes.
What room?
It's in the alumni center.
It's the annex earlier. So when you walk in through the west doors earlier, it's just a staircase one right in.
Yeah, and don't worry. So it might be. I'm gonna make it permanent. He's gonna make a fun video walking to it, and we're gonna post it. So that way, because if you guys are confused, I am sure BSU and OSU will be just as confused. And so we're gonna make a video of how to get there from the EMU. So you should find it pretty. Did anyone know?
So the ultimate goal of this, is it just to equip students with the tools to lobby, or is there gonna be like, hey, everyone, we're gonna go actually put it into practice at like the state or whatever, or is it?
Yes, good question. So at this event, I'm still talking to my team. I think I kind of want to set aside a portion of it for it to be a discussion of the things that we want to lobby on, because this is a chance to have all, like not all, but like not most, 3 of the universities, but some online, talk about what their students are going to. So the point of this lobby day training session, and we are going to have another one April 1st, but that one's going to be for the general UO student body as well as student government. This one's mainly for a mixture of different student governments. So this will equip you on how to lobby, because we have lobby days coming up. So we have one April 24th, and OSU is currently planning one for May 7th, so we can all go together. So I'm just hoping to give people the opportunity to learn what lobbying looks like before they go, because I went last year and I didn't know what it was. And so when I was sitting with the representatives in the room, I rarely ever spoke up because I just didn't know what I was doing. And so if I can help, like if our team and I can like help break down that barrier, that's our goal. So that's kind of what this session is for. And it gives you an opportunity to also talk to what I like to call your mirror at the other universities. Like I love talking to Audrey and Brady because it's like my mirror at a different school and seeing the way we do things differently. So this could be an opportunity for you guys to do that too.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the parks and details.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I will send that in the chat. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thank you guys so much. I'll put it in the chat.
Anybody else for public? I'm gonna say one quick note before we close it. I know that a lot of you probably have heard, just going back to what Alice was talking about, what's going on at ASUO, with the departure of the vice president and sort of the other underlying issues. I'm prepared to come with an update next week. I'm going to be speaking to some of my colleagues from there later this week. And I think it's important that we're there for our colleagues. I think being with the Big Ten last week really showed that we're there for each other and helps us get through a lot of these because a lot of them do the same things. So yeah, I just want to let you know I'll be talking to you this week. Yeah. That's nothing else. Moving to financial business. Financial status update, surplus is at $470,000. Unallocated reserve at $34,494. First request, transfer request from Net Impact.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Justin, go for it.
Hi, so I'm Justin. I'm the VP of Finance for Net Impact undergraduate, and Net Impact is a club that's really focused on seeing how business can be used as a force for environmental and social good. We really want to give our members, opportunities to learn about how sustainability can affect different sectors of business, as well as give them opportunities for professional development, such as having guest speakers, workshops, and also networking opportunities such as a networking trip or like the conference we're going to be holding in the spring. And so our request is an internal transfer of funds totaling $3,470 from our copying and printing line item and our annual networking trip line item to be transferred to our professional development night line item and our career exploration event line item, as well as the creation of a graduation stoles line item. A majority of those funds is coming from the annual networking trip line item, and that's just leftover funds that we didn't use on our networking trip back in week 2, and that was just funds that we didn't use on the flights because I guess they were a lot cheaper than what we had initially estimated. And yeah, that's our request. If there's any questions.
Okay, wonderful, Justin. Thanks for being with us tonight. Senator Sproul.
Hi, Justin. Yes, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to confirm that everything's coming from the annual networking trip line item, and the 3 ones that you're transferring into tonight are graduation stoles, career exploration panel, and professional development night. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I believe all the funds is from the annual networking trip lineup, except for like $100, which comes from the copying and printing line item, which we don't have any foreseeable use for.
Okay, the copying and printing one wasn't in the engage form, but yeah, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Fisher.
Hi, Justin. Thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and just make this transfer request motion for you. I move to transfer funds within Group Net Impact Undergraduate OS 261. In the amount of $100 from copying and printing to new line item named graduation stoles. The amount of $325 from existing line item named annual networking trip to new line item named graduation stoles. In the amount of $2,000 from annual networking trip to career exploration panel. And in the amount of $1,045 from existing line item annual networking trip to professional development night for a grand total of $3,470.
Second.
Motion made by Fisher. Is there any discussion? Peters.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Potter.
Aye.
Ackman.
Aye.
Renna. Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Pineda.
Aye.
Nagarajan. Aye. Wu.
Aye.
Esbek.
Aye.
Bagdaluna.
Aye.
Sproul.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
Salmon.
Aye.
Ducharme. Aye. Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins Iscox.
Aye.
Garrity.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. The motion is adopted. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Alrighty, our next transfer request is Cultura.
Hi, everyone. I'm Izzy Chu. I'm one of the co-directors at Cultura Filipinas. I'm here with my finance coordinator intern, J-Roll. So you see how some hearing goes. I'm here to request $8,701 as a transfer from PCN / spring events into 2 different lines, winter events and food for winter events. We're looking to make PCN purchases now, so that way we don't have to rush the PO process at the start of spring term.
Thanks, Izzy. Senator Blue.
Hi, I think this sounds pretty straightforward. So I would like to make the motion. I move to transfer funds within Group Culture Filipinos OS number OSO 49I from line item PCN/spring events to new line item winter events in the amount of 8,700.
Second, Ramirez Pineda.
Motion made by Blue, seconded Ramirez Pineda. Is there any discussion? Senator Witherspoon.
Did you want to be moved to two new line items?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure because we included some invoices for catering from third parties. So I just wanted to be sure that we could do food for winter events.
Is the food gonna be for the winter events?
No, it's gonna be for PCN, but it needed to be moved for winter because we're trying to make these purchases now.
Yeah.
Also, the business owners have made the invoices for this term, so we just like to get back to them as soon as possible.
So how much do you want to be transferred to the food line item?
The food line item should receive. We can hear the drum right now. A total of $6,318.07. Yes.
And just to clarify, you want to take this money out of the PCN spring event lines to go to winter events and food, but the food is for PCN. So, or I guess it's one for food and one for. Yeah, I'm just confused if you're using the money for PCN and spring events, then why are you moving it over those line items?
They sent us an invoice for this term, a deadline for a minimum of 4 weeks out from the event. So they still have to source the ingredients, and some of the food that we're using are rare ingredients that they only can get from Brooklyn, so that counts as what food and travel costs. Yeah, we're just trying to fulfill the invoice as soon as possible because they did provide us with no other word to use than invoice. But yeah. Not sure if that's your question.
Can you repeat the number?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Just the number that you just said. The 6,000 number.
Yeah, $6,318.70.
You round up to 19. Can't round up to.
I yield.
Senator Fisher.
I yield.
Right.
I'm gonna clarify one more time, I'm so sorry. So 6,319 you want moved to a new line item titled food, and then the rest of it to a new line item labeled winter events?
Correct.
Okay, sounds good, thank you, I get it.
So just want to clarify, food will be served at PCN. So it's just, we're filling this now.
I'm gonna let her amend her motion.
Yeah, there's a motion. Can you move to amend your motion?
You have to
do the whole thing.
I do. I want to confirm, first of all, that it is gonna be 6,319 to food line. If you have a specific name for it, because it doesn't say on the. It would be a new line. It would be a new line. Yeah, do you have a name or just?
Food for winter events.
Okay. And then the other amount is going to be. The other amount for the rest is going to be 2,300. It's writing it down, sorry. Okay. Starting the new motion, I move to transfer funds within the group Cultural Filipinos OS number OS 049I from line item existing line PCN spring events
to new line item winter events in the amount of 6,319 for food for winter. And also $2,382 to new line item winter events in the total amount of $8,701.
Second, Fisher.
Motion made by Woody, seconded by Fisher. On discussion, please. Carrie.
I'm so sorry, but I think that if this is going to be for PCN, then you probably don't want to label it as winter events because then it will be specifically used for winter events. Yeah.
So food for PCN.
Literally just food for PCN.
Great. Yeah. Food for PCN.
Sorry. Sorry to make you intervention. I don't.
I got it. I move to amend my motion. I move to transfer funds within the group cultural Filipinas OS number OS 0491 from existing line item PCN spring events in the amount of $2,382 and $6,319 to food for PCN line item in the amount of $8,701.
Second, Ramirez.
Motion made by Blue, seconded by Ramirez. Is there any discussion?
The specifics of how the motion was made. So we'll just
Because it ends up to 8,700. So I think it's. Is there any other discussion? Peters.
Aye.
Vote.
Aye.
Potter.
Aye.
Moreno. Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Pineda.
Aye.
Nagaraj. Aye. Wu.
Aye.
Aspen.
Aye.
Magdalena.
Aye.
Strong.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Fallon.
Aye.
Ducharme.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins Cisco.
Aye.
Garrity.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. The motion is adopted. We'll now move into surplus requests. First is affiliated student undergraduate research and engagement. Now we're here to speak on that request.
Hello, I'm joining online. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can. Thanks, man. You're the one. If you want to introduce yourself and your request.
Incredible. My name is Megan Adamick. I'm one of the co-leads for Ashore. I'm here on behalf of my other co-lead who's working to update our logo and get new designs for stickers as a promotional material for tabling events, that sort of thing. As a club that leads workshops and not really membership meetings, promotional material is super important to us. And we requested surplus because our past leadership was unable to foresee us having to make this purchase in the new year. We went through a lot more promotional material than we expected to. And then I'll add, I'm unable to access the link to our surplus request. So I don't have the proper amount right now off the top of my head, and I apologize for coming unprepared like that.
I'll be Fisher, Ramirez Pineda, Lumen.
It's me, not Ramirez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks for being here. I know you can't see the engage correct, so there's two different numbers in here. One is for $230 for total amount you're requesting, but then for the line item for sticker printing, it says $250. So I'm just wondering if you could clarify which one of those sounds more correct to you.
Okay, I believe my co-lead there was trying to move a line item of $50 for sticker printing, and the correct amount would be $230.
$230?
Oh wait, no, there is. But it still said the total is 230. It was 230.
Thank you for clarifying that. I yield.
Just to double check, you want to do an internal transfer of $50 and then you want $230 of surplus?
Yes, that sounds correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. I was just wondering how many stickers you're planning on printing with this money?
Yeah, we're printing 500 stickers and we've gotten this quoted through like a CAS approved vendor.
Awesome. That's a great thing for your buck. I yield.
So whoever makes the motion, just make them separately so we can. Liz.
I yield. Or
Question and answer, but I'm going to authorize spending from surplus from related students for undergraduate research and engagement, OS number OS 327, and the amount of $230 to existing line item make sticker painting.
Second, Scrow.
Motion made by Ludeman, seconded Stearns. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those other great motions adopted. That have been transferred.
I move to transfer funds within group affiliated students for undergraduate research and engagement, OS number OS 327, and the amount of $50 from existing line item named as cure in your e-links and line item named sticker printing.
Second, Ramirez Pineda.
Motion made by Ludeman, seconded by Ramirez. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Great, thanks so much for being here, Megan. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Persian Student Association.
Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne. I'm the president of Persian Student Association. I'm here. I applied for a surplus because this week we have Nowruz, which is a Persian New Year, which is also our biggest event in our yearly calendar. And it's a celebration over like common within like 17 countries. And although we align like all our money for this event, but we're like about $200. It's not only a celebration, but also a cultural event that people can come. It's educational. We're gonna like connect people to the culture that we have, and there's a slide. There's a portion for the education.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for being with us tonight. Yes,
I was gonna go ahead and make the motion. Hello, thank you for being here. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Persian Student Association, OS number 320I, in the amount of $200 to existing line item Persian New Year.
Second, Scrow.
Motion made by Ramirez, another second Peters. Is there any discussion?
I was just wondering if there's like a trend line issue, just because it says we guys.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, congratulations. Alrighty, up next is National Student Speech, Language, and Hearing Association.
Well, and back again. Your hair looks great.
Okay, I'm here to request $200 of surplus for our National Student Speech, Language, and Hearing Association. For our spring term events. We are having a big spring term, or we plan to have a big spring term. We want to have a faculty student mixer that will happen the first week of term. We've already done the catering and everything for that. We also want to have a senior celebration at end of the year celebration, which will also require catering. And we would like to get graduation cords for our seniors who have been to a certain number of meetings. And then finally, we're also participating in a walk for ALS in honor of one of our professors who was recently diagnosed with ALS. And we would like to purchase supplies related to that walk.
Thank you for being with us so much. Ramirez, Pineda, and Jenkins.
I was gonna make the motion. Do you wanna make it so? Oh, yeah, sorry, I yelled.
Megan's his cut.
Okay, I'm gonna make the motion.
I move to authorize spending from surplus to group National Student Speech Language and Hearing Association, OS number OS 132, in the amount of $200 to existing line item named Club Social Events.
Motion made by Jenkins, Hiscox, seconded Peters. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Other? Great, congratulations. Alrighty, next on the agenda is new corp. James? And I just, you might see the denied engagement form. I just updated the link. There's a new engagement form that was submitted.
Yeah. There's actually two surplus requests that I put in like right next to each other Monday mornings, so there might be a little confusion in the system because of that. Hi, I'm Jane. We have two surplus requests. We have one for $989.50 for our oral argument selection competition, which is Saturday, March 15th from 9 to 5. We're expecting about 80 people. This is a great opportunity for law students to try to participate, to get on the board. It's a great way for undergraduate students to practice their oral advocacy and public speaking skills. It's open to all, and the money is for food. Should I present the second surplus or should I wait?
I just put them both there. So you can speak to both of them if you want to.
Okay. The second one is for sweaters, and this one is also a little confusing, and I'm very sorry for that. But the surplus form is requesting formally on $1,008.01 for the sweaters that we give out to our members for our organization every year. We don't like to charge the members for it, so we try to do it through ASUO. It's a great way for students to try to join the org. It's a great way to encourage students to join the org. I personally do just about anything for a free t-shirt. And yeah, the unfortunate thing is we do actually need $1,308.01 back. We didn't realize what we had thought when that new tax rule for the student gifts came in. We thought it meant that when a student hits $50, they get a W-2 form and they get taxed on it, which you can, but you have to do that through a department. So if that doesn't happen, then the student has to pay for it themselves. So what happened is 7 of our students have already hit their $50 gift limit with another organization that they're in. But one of our members already paid for the sweaters so that we could kind of expedite things and just get them moving along. So we just really don't want him to have to pay $300, and we don't want 7 individual people to have to pay for the sweaters. And we can work with our department, well, not our department. We can work with one of the deans of the law school that we frequently work with to get the funding sorted for the other 300 to get back to him. But this way he can put that reimbursement request in for the 1,000 still, and he doesn't have to be out as much money. The total is, with the 300 for the sweaters, it's $2,297.51, and without the sweaters, it's $1,900. With the sweaters, but without the 300, it's $1,999.07.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. I know it's been a whole process, so I appreciate you bringing about this. Senator Bauman.
Okay, so you're gonna put the 300 in later, yeah? Also, thank you so much for being here.
So the 300 would kind of sit in the merchandise line item, and then it would go back to the member who paid for everything. So he would do the $1,000 through the surplus, and then 300 I would work with our law school dean to get back to him through the department. They have to fill out tax forms, and we have to fill out tax forms. So
What I'm seeing engaged is 1,008.01. That sound about right?
Yes, without the 300. Yes, so the total cost is $1,308.01. Yeah, and the total that ASUO can reimburse through the financial services is $1,008, but we need the 1,300. So does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. I was like, there's probably a better way I can explain this.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, thank you for being here. So just a clarifying question, these sweaters have already been ordered, and so like students have already been given the sweaters?
They haven't been given the sweaters yet. we voted on what we wanted as our merchandise a couple months back. And then we decided on the design and the colors, everything we wanted. And then we told students, sign up if you want one, you get it for free. And everybody signed up because everybody wanted it. Yeah.
And then, I don't think this is like a rule we have, but, has it been checked that the other students haven't met their like $50 limit, or was it just because this one particular student did meet the like $50 up now?
No, 7 of our students did. So,
Okay.
yeah, out of like 33, I think 7 of them did.
So then those 7 will not be getting the sweater?
That would be,
or is that the fair?
that would kind of be the issue, is because the member who paid for everything would still be slapped with 1,300, but the 7 members would probably still get their sweater. We haven't quite decided what we're gonna do if we don't get the total 1,300. We've tossed a few ideas around, but we decided to wait to see what happened today and make plans from there. But my biggest issue is I just don't want to tell 7 individual students they need to pay, $40, $50 for the sweater. Everybody else gets them free, or we, just don't give them their sweaters when they wanted them. And regardless, the student still paid $300 and now has 7 sweaters that he doesn't need lying around. So.
Thank you, I yield.
Others grow.
Hi, how many people are getting sweaters total? How many sweaters are you ordering?
I would have to look at the purchase order, but I want to say it's like 33 people.
Okay, and only 7 of those are the issue where this is coming into.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. And you're just saying the total that, even though your surplus request that you put in, right? You're saying you want $1,300. You don't want what you asked for in this engage.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, you would want $1,300 so the guy can get reimbursed, correct?
Yes, and I did talk to Student Financial Services
today.
Yeah, and they basically told me to do it this way too. So, because they wouldn't approve it with the 1,300, they said that they can't approve it. Like their system won't allow it. It's like a policy thing, and it just was not going to happen. And I was like, okay, I think this is probably the best way to do it. So,
but you're still asking for us to consider giving you $1,300.
Yes.
Okay. And just override that sauce thing. That's it. I yield to Tira.
Just a reminder that sometimes SOF's policy is not like decided by SOFs, it's also a thing of the university.
Okay.
So I would say we probably have to do $1,000 limit or $8.
Okay, great, thank you. I guess I yielded to Gary, so I guess I'm done.
I guess the majority of my question was just answered, but I think in the future, I would advise that you don't purchase the sweaters before you get the surplus, just to avoid all of the things that you
Yeah, we've learned that the hard way. The issue is just like people in the past had done it this way and had no issue, and the W-2 rule is kind of, I don't know if it's new, but they said it's being really, really enforced this year. So that was kind of where we hit the bump.
Wait a minute. Alright.
So are we making the motion for 1,300 or 1,000? Because if it can't go through SOFs.
1,009 because you can't round up, or you have to round up.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I just have one quick question. I was wondering if someone can explain. So will this avoid the issue of the 7 students who agreed for $50 more? So like is the funding still going to pay for the 7 students? And then if it does pay for theirs, is it then just maybe since they're going to?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the $300 that is given, that is going to be given from the law school, that is going to cover the 7 students.
That is what we will try to do, yes. But the issue is that the 13 needs to be in the line item so that we can pull that 300, and then the student requests just the 1,000, and then they have to work. That's how it was explained to me by SOFs. So at the very least. Okay, I'm sorry it's so confusing. It's too. I think this is a learning moment for all of us.
Hey, hold on. Hey, everybody, just take a second. I'm gonna ask that when you raise your flag, you gotta raise it up because I gotta be able to see them all. So I saw Ramirez Panetta, I saw Lindemann, and I saw Scrum.
It's my turn. It was just, my question is for the competition surplus request, and so how many students are attending or competing in the competition?
Students competing, I think it's about 45, and the rest is volunteers and judges.
Okay. Oh, I do. Thank you very much.
Scrum.
I'm gonna go ahead and make this motion. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Keep correcting me when I say this. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group University of Oregon Moot Court Board OS number OS 324 in the amount of $1,009 to line item named merchandise.
Second, Dylan.
Motion made by Scrum, seconded Dylan.
You should go before I do the second one, right?
Is there any discussion? Sorry, that was 1,009, you said?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave a comment and engage with. There's no discussion with Bill. Peters.
Aye.
Bo. Connor. Aye. Moreno.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Panetta.
Aye.
Nagaraj. Aye. Wu. Hesbeck. Back to Lumen. Scrum.
Aye.
Dylan.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
Bauman.
Aye.
Ducharme. Aye. Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox. Aye. Garrity.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. That request is September.
And then just the one for the O's.
Ludeman is still on.
That motion went through, but I just wanted to clarify with that. Was your initial thought that additional $300 would go into the same line item? And then I guess I was just confused about what Sauce was saying about like giving it to the
I was confused too.
I would.
Honestly, I was just gonna talk to the rest of the executive committee, and then we were probably gonna talk to the law school dean and see if they could talk to Sauce and go from there.
Yeah.
Thank you though.
That's the other.
Yeah, honestly, it's better to get the $1,000 done and just have to worry about 300 at the end of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the goal, just to get them most of the money back.
Okay, cool. So I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group University of Oregon Moot Court Board OS number OS 324 in the amount of $990, again, excuse me, to line item Moot Court competition.
Second, Ramirez Panetta.
Motion made by Scrum, second Ramirez Panetta. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much, guys.
Great. AMA, American Marketing Association. Somebody who will Oh, Nate. It's perfect timing. I just called American Marketing Association. Oh, are you ready?
No, all right.
Perfect. How are it? Came right on time.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome back.
We're back. Yeah, we're back. I don't know if we want to do the whole spiel again because I'm not sure if everybody was here. But the nature of this meeting, yeah, okay. But the nature of this meeting is just kind of to get additional money for the money we already spent. Kind of told us at the end of our last meeting, like we'd start off with 50,000 and see if we could do more. We were ready to spend how much was it? 23. And we put a reservation already for the hotels, but that didn't require us to pay yet. So we have a hotel reservation. But so that's kind of yeah, with this slides and kind of just get everybody up to date and like kind of who we are. So the student-led marketing club, dedicated to helping members grow professionally and explore careers in marketing. We're the only marketing club on campus. We recently became reaffiliated with a national chapter. So there's 320 AMA collegiate chapters across North America, and we are one of them now. So, and so this little spiel on like our story and what went on. So both me and Nate actually became execs in spring of last term, and we didn't really get a lot of turnover. The club was sort of dying. And we kind of really just got the ball in our last little site visit. But we didn't get a lot of guidance on how to run a ASUO club. So our first step was to get reaffiliated, as we spoke about earlier. And we've sort of just been building since. Yeah, so this is just us tabling. That was like our first meeting turnout. We made shirts. Slide is that's kind of the success thing. And this is our one biggest meeting. We did a collaboration with Women in Business, and we brought in Chris Gibbs from Los Angeles and Adrian Miles, who works as a direct brand marketer for Jordan. That was like the best turnout we got. So starting from like nothing to something is kind of the story. And then kind of just to give you guys an overview of what the conference is. So yeah, it's going to be taking place, which is week 1 of spring term. So April 3rd, April 5th. That would be from Thursday to Saturday, I believe. So at the conference, there'll be professional networking. I'll show you later, but there's like a bunch of sponsors and like also representatives from the companies that will be there to talk to students. So it'll be somewhat of like a little career fair. And then there are also going to be a lot of workshops. There are a couple competitions that we're going to be part of. We're being 15 people, so not everybody can take part in each of the competitions. I think it's 5 members from a specific chapter. So we've kind of divvied it up. No matter what, there's also a Deloitte workshop that's going to go on throughout the day that people can drop in and out of. Yeah, so that's kind of a list of competitions. We weren't able to register for all of them, but I think the ones that we are participating in are the digital marketing competition and the not sure, maybe the marketing strategy one, but yeah, that's kind of what it's talking about. Those are just a list of some of the companies that'll be there, kind of as sponsors for some of the events and also the career fair, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this is kind of just would be the travel itinerary. We actually have our tickets booked. I don't know.
We have receipts for all this in a couple of slides from now.
Yeah, but yeah, so we'd be flying out early in the morning on April 2nd. Hopefully that day we can like check in for the conference so we don't have to do it in the morning because bright and early the conference will actually start on the 3rd. And so yeah, we're gonna fly in on the 2nd, then the conference will take place from the 3rd to the 5th. We'll fly out on Sunday, so we'll be back ready for week 2.
So here's a cost breakdown. It's the same from our last meeting here. So, so we did get $30,000 for attendance, food, flights, estimated flights, and hotel. As we said earlier, the hotel and also attendance were already reserved, and the flights. Flights, hotel, and attendance were all reserved. It's just that the hotel costs aren't paid till you stay. So like you have a reserve to wait to hopefully get funds paid back after. You still need the food costs as well. So the next slide. So here are the receipts that we have. Right, it's like hotel receipts, and then flights on the left, and then the bottom left, and it's receipts. Yeah, so essentially we had 30K added to our account, and then we ended up spending 23,000 on the left. And so we still need to pay for those hotels and have enough costs to cover our food expenses, which is why we need 6,000. But I just took 30K minus what we purchased, minus what we still need for our ticket. Do you have any questions?
So yeah, because yeah, actually the slideshow is fine. Oh, I mean, we already did applications for the people because we already booked the flights. Everybody is already confirmed and ready to go. So yeah.
One yes, yeah. Thank you guys for coming back and providing some of the supplemental information. I'm just gonna ask a quick question, because I know this was my contention last night. Is pertains to hotel rooms, what were you able to, I know senators were asking. Right, four to a room, I'm sorry. Can you speak a little bit to how many folks are per room?
I think there's 6 or 7 doubles, and then a single that we got. I'll double check.
The single was just for our faculty.
Right.
So. Yeah. So how many people, like in one hotel room, how many folks?
Okay, yeah, so we have 2 with 3. And then we have 4 with 2. And single.
Okay, wonderful.
I have like older receipts I could pull the thing.
Wonderful. We'll start with the speakers. Let's scroll.
No, you are.
Yeah, scroll Witherspoon.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, yeah, you ended up answering a lot of my questions as you guys kept going, so thank you for coming and being up here again. Want to ask, we gave you some of this money. Can you expand upon like some expenses such as these flights being $1,300 a person or so? Is a bit hefty. Is that what you originally budgeted for? I just can't remember off the top of my head. Or did you experience flights being increased, like changed over time? Is that what the issue is now?
It definitely increased a whole lot,
Okay.
so I completely underestimated the flight cost.
Okay. Is that the main issue that you ran into, that now you have to cover food again? Okay.
It took a while to book.
Yeah, gotcha. The time difference. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
especially because there's no direct flights from Eugene to New Orleans. That was the biggest thing.
Unique.
Yeah. No matter what, we had to do a connection flight.
Okay. Yeah, you'll.
So there's no correct thing you need to any.
Yeah.
Withers.
Hi, so I'm confused about the 30,000 number because we funded you $34,000 when you came. It's in the minutes. I'm looking in the minutes right now.
The minutes were wrong.
The minutes were
We
wrong.
ended up like working with them.
I forgot to email to have them change it if they were wrong. I'm sorry, that's I
Okay.
saw that a while ago.
That's good to know. Okay. And just to clarify, you don't have 4 people to. Okay. Were there options to do 4 people to a room?
Yeah. But it was like sharing beds and like.
Okay, I feel like a lot of other organizations do that, just so you know. So if we funded this extra $6,000, then that would be, well, we've updated our financial priorities in the last couple weeks, and I know that we've already funded you for this, so this is a little late in the game. But just for reference, our current budget for, or suggest budget for like New Orleans and trips like on the East Coast. We're saying that we don't want to spend more than $25,000 for each trip, and we don't want to fund. We don't want to send advisors anymore. So I'm personally a little uncomfortable with this just because of how expensive it is for the 15 people. I don't know. I thought I appreciate when we asked if you could put 4 people to a room, and that didn't happen. And I don't know. That's fine, but I'm a fan of the financial priorities. I'll just say, yeah, I feel.
Hi, thank you for coming. In reference to what Senator Scrow was saying earlier, what exactly changed from the previous request? Like, was it just the flights, or did other things increase beyond your expected budget?
Yeah, every other around there was fixed. Like just the attendance was exact same, hotels were the exact same. It's just.
Do you see anywhere right now that you could possibly lower costs, or is this exactly what you would need to go?
I guess food can be reduced possibly just because we have tax, but as you know, we already reserved hotels, so you kind of. Everything else is pretty fees,
I think I also just want to note that there's some context right now, and the additional request would be about $2,400 per per person.
Senator Potter, then Bowen.
Thank you for coming. I guess I think that I would be in support of funding just because we've already funded the trip, so I assume that there's probably no other way for you guys to make this money. I know that people have already asked you about our health. I was just curious, is there any way for you to cancel one of the hotel rooms? I think, while I did say I am in support of funding, I think I'd be a lot more in support of if we really can try and like cut all the costs down and put more people to a room because like we said now, our financial priorities support that. But I do understand if the hotels are set in stone and you can't cancel them now.
So they were supposed to book it by at the actual conference was two days ago. So it's possible like you can try to look into other hotels, but they did have like a lower fixed rate for people attending the event. So I'm kind of doubt which places, but I can.
Yeah, the hotel is also where conference would take place for the most part, so it would be in the area of the hotel.
Yes, sorry, maybe I was misspoke. Like, is there? I guess when I said cancel a room, I just mean like one room, so that like you shift it so that there's 4 people to a room.
Yeah, I can look at.
I wasn't sure because it was like set on one time.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ayu.
My God.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. So I know you're saying that the thing that went up significantly was the flight. Do you know do you have a rough estimate just for future reference of like how much it went up by? Or what it started at and what it ended at?
I could pull it up.
That would be awesome, thank you. As for that much.
Yeah, so here it said that it was 13,000. It's like 14,000. That's what it was purchased for. Wait, can you go back one more second? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, 9.7K, which is like my estimate, which was not great, to 19,000.
Perfect, thank you so much, I yield.
Okay, I'm next. I am gonna say a little bit to cutting down the cost. I'm not sure exactly where they would cut the cost down, given the flights are booked. I know somebody sent me a screenshot of how much flights are. Remember, ASUO travel folks, from your travel, you gotta buy non-refundable tickets. They gotta be, there's a lot of restrictions around that, so when they book the travel, they don't really have a whole lot of economy flexibility over that. Food per diem is calculated by the GSA website. I guess moving hotels, but I mean, I feel like you guys probably found one that's in close proximity to where you need to be. So I don't know where you would cut down costs from that. And as for funding advisors, I know we all voted for financial priorities. I don't see a reason why we wouldn't fund advisors. A lot of orgs benefit from having them there, especially for the professional aspect. Yeah. Garrett.
I agree with what you just said. I also think that it's a little unfair to be holding them to financial priorities that were instated after their original request was approved. I'm not necessarily understanding what the argument is there. And I mean, like, we can feel like other orgs put people and events together, but also it's about listening to the comfortability of the org. I think what I've noticed today and a lot in previous nights is that there's not necessarily an there's not, people aren't really listening to an org to listen and understand where they're coming from. They're listening to respond. And I think that we need to kind of humble ourselves a little bit and remember that orgs are here telling us what they need to feel supported. And sometimes that is like making sure that people, like, there isn't a million people in a room together. And then also, like, NOLA is just expensive. It's so expensive, and where they are staying is expensive. I stay in that hotel all the damn time, and they're like right on Canal Street, right right near the quarter, and they're like right like where they should be, and it's just expensive. So, like Speaker Lopez Duval said, I don't really see anywhere where we should or can necessarily feel.
I do appreciate you guys like changing the rooms, after we requested that and putting this to line based. Brenna. Mayor Spinetta.
Thank you for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion, and then if discussion wants to continue, we can go ahead and do so. I move to authorize spending from surplus group American Marketing Association OS number 136 in the amount of $6,033 to existing line item named AMA International Collegiate Conference.
Second Fisher.
Motion made by Ramirez, second Fisher. Scrub. Discussion.
I don't want to be redundant, so I'll keep it short. I was going to echo what Talik just said. I want to just reiterate the point here, though. I'm not in favor of making an event $2,400 per person. I see where a lot of senators are coming from for that. However, because they did come, we did approve this funding already. What are they going to do? Just not have hotel rooms to stay in? So even though I personally think we are, like, I so am aware of running out of surplus, and like that issue is pressing, and I'm against the precedent rule and not saying because they've already gone halfway through this that we can't just like not approve this extra funding for the specific ask for hotels because they are already going on this trip. So I will be voting yes because of that, despite, I yield.
Any other discussion?
I'm going to say that I also support funding this because it already came to us on January 29th. Not your fault that the flights went up. And I want you guys to be able to eat and attend this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you.
Okay, let's vote. Peters.
Aye.
Bo.
Aye.
Potter.
Aye.
Ackerman. Aye. Moreno.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Pineda. Nagarajan. Aye. Wu. Hesbeck. Aye. Kalina.
Aye.
Scrub.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
Bauman.
Aye.
Ducharme. Aye. Cole.
Aye.
And Francisco.
Aye.
Garrity.
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Have a great time.
Side.
Alrighty, American Institute of Architecture students. Thank you. Yes, have a good night.
So my name is Danny Hill. I'm with the American Institute of Architecture students. So just some background, the AIAS is part of a national organization. We are one of 300 chapters in the US, and we are throwing our annual Low Arts Ball. So this is a recurring event every single year that we do. And it's part of AIAS tradition, so it's a pretty big deal for our club. As far as funding goes, we are requesting a total of $3,715 for this event. The projected total for the entire event is going to be $6,935. And we already have some initial funding that is existing that we have budgeted out. So in total, We are projecting that the food costs are going to be $4,500. Photo booth for $450. DJ and music is going to be $200. Our facility rental, which is already organized, is going to be $985. Our decorations are going to amount to a total of $800 for what we budgeted. For our existing funding, we're going to be pulling from a few different line items. For eFund, we have $2,160. And then we have a BAB event line, which BAB's the acronym. And so that's the going to be $200. And then we're planning to transfer from a few other line items once we get this budgeting going to complete all the existing funding. And that's going to be from winter events, fall events, and social events. We make sure to leave some wiggle room so we could try to be more efficient for what we are asking this year. So was there any questions that you guys have?
Thanks for being here, Danny. Yes, we'll go.
I'm just gonna go ahead and make a motion. You didn't want to do this internal transfer request today, right?
No, I'm gonna put that through.
Okay, that's like perfect. I move to authorize spending from surplus from the group American Institute of Architecture students, OS number OS 006I, and amount of $3,715 to existing line item name rather than.
Second.
Made by Lumen, seconded Peters. Is there any discussion? Okay. Peters.
Aye.
No. Aye. Potter.
Aye.
Eichmann. Aye. Moreno. Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Pineda. Navarro. Aye. Wu.
Aye.
Esbeck. Aye.
Aye.
Scrum.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Aye.
Bowman.
Aye.
Ducharme. Aye. Cole.
Aye.
Higgins is good.
Aye.
Kearney.
Aye.
I say aye as well. Alrighty. Audio Hawaii.
I'm Sean, and this is Nico from Hawaii. And we're requesting $10,000 from surplus to help pay for our legal costs.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. Can I ask you why you're asking for an additional?
Yeah. You know, we already asked for $1,000 surplus.
62,000.
Yeah. So most of it is because of that. We made our estimates based off of last year. We'll be paying around 47,000. But this year, we got an estimate for just the sound and lighting, and that came out to 40,000 for 2 days. I don't know how they got to that number, but
There's some inflation involved, but I don't know where the rest of it came from.
and so that's just for sound and lighting, and it doesn't even include the cost of actually renting that night. And so we're still waiting to hear back on a solid estimate from Matthew for the cost. And so far, we only know the sound and lighting cost.
Okay, wow, that is an insanely high number. Can I ask you what was that price like last year?
Last year, we only got a lump sum cost from Matthew and I.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know like the breakdown.
yeah, all we know is that it costed around $47K.
So why is it so much more expensive? Are you guys doing anything differently this year compared to last year, or is it just inflation?
We did have a meeting with Doug, the sound and lighting guy, and he pretty much said that they were able to, like, they're kind of able to do anything that we want to enhance the show that, and he gave us like a cost breakdown as to like rigging, labor, lights, audio, and it seemed like the lighting cost, I guess, boosted everything up. We were thinking of doing, for those of you who are at the show, when like our MCs went into the audience, and depending on where you were sitting, you probably
did not know where they went until they came back on stage. So there was talk about having like kind of like a spotlight almost to follow them. So we don't, and then also like colored lights to go on stage for the dances. So we don't know. That probably might have been something that boosted it up for sure.
And
Sorry, I kind of meant overall, like, is there, other than the new spotlights and stuff, is there anything overarching that you added?
Honestly, no.
Wow. Okay.
But one thing I'll say is that the lump sum cost of 47,000, it for this year it could be just that the lighting last year was also that expensive, and that the Matthew Night rental was around 7,000. But then again, we're just not sure, and they still haven't been responding to us about the actual cost of it.
They said like 2 weeks ago, and I've been in contact with them through email last week, and they said that they're breaking down their numbers and they would send me something this week, and they haven't yet. So tomorrow I will how fast they can get us those numbers.
Yeah, and just to be safe, we just want to come solve fast as possible.
Yeah. Thank you for taking my question. I yield.
I have a question. I know when we talked earlier in the year, maybe it was later last year, we talked about like trying to find other ways of funding to for this event. Can you speak to the other ways of funding to do so, whether it's like monetary or anything?
Compared to last year, we sent out our sponsorship letters to companies a lot earlier. A lot of them have yet to get back to us. Some of them have, and they said that either they don't do monetary donations. Some of them have sent us physical like donations. Some of them, I believe they said that they've spent their like to get so they have nothing else to give. As far as right now, we do have 3 people who have sent us monetary sponsorships. This one was like 1,700. And then we also did a donation drive back in December at home. A couple parents came to that. I believe some of them were interested in donating monetarily. And then we also plan to send out another donation like sign up sheet for our like country store items. So we're hoping to get a lot of that stuff donated and we can then.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say how incredibly thankful I am for you guys reaching out and doing that. Senator Stroh.
I yield. That's my question. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I definitely support funding this since you clearly have done your due diligence. Like, it's so impressive that you've gotten these donations and that you have already organized it. So, like, obviously, we just really you high and dry. I yield.
Yeah, I want to echo that as well. Like, you've done what you can, and I'm also going to go ahead and make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Clear Hawaii OS number 039 in the amount of $10,000 to existing line item named Spring Luau.
Motion made by Ramirez, second. Discussion.
I just wanted to tell everyone in the Senate, if we fund this and it's $70,000 and they're expecting about 700 guests, so that falls within our $100 per person for big events. However, this is after this $10,000, this is about to be $15,000 more than the next most expensive surplus request we've ever funded. That doesn't change my opinion about.
Any other discussion? Campbell. Peters.
Aye.
Doug. Aye. Fine.
Aye.
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 Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Pineda.
Aye.
Blue. Esbeck. Aye. Clinton. Stroh.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Luke.
Aye.
Bauman.
Aye.
Ducharme. Aye. Cole.
Aye.
Aye.
Garrity.
Aye.
I say aye as well. Okay. That concludes financial business. I'm going to yield to the chair of the academic committee.
Hi, okay, this is a resolution, calling on the University of Oregon Board of Trustees to vote for thermal systems transition option 2B. If you know me well, you know that this is something that we've been fighting for a very long time. As I'm a part of Climate Justice League and Climate Justice League, as well as other community and on-campus partners have been fighting for this. Last year, we were fighting for option 4, which was a more ambitious option. The ASUO Senate last year passed a resolution urging the Board of Trustees to pass option 4. Now, with our many talks with different trustees, different admin, and stakeholders, it's looking like it's either going to be continuing business as usual, not doing anything, or option can be, which is still around 45%, or yeah, 45% emissions reduction. So it would be much better than business as usual. And so we're urging them to vote for something. They were supposed to vote on this last March, and they just kept kicking the can down the road. Hopefully, we were hoping that they would vote on it at the Board of Trustees meeting this term. It's looking like they won't, but we are still urging them, getting this to be something that they are constantly thinking about, and something that students care about. And yeah, we want our campus to greenhouse gas emissions. Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna yield to Senator Bruno first to read.
How do I start the motion off?
I move to adopt.
I move to adopt the ASUO Senate resolution calling on the University of Oregon Board of Trustees to vote for thermal system transition option 2B. Authors Chair Bella Esbeck, Jack Dodson. Co-authors Senator Aaron Ludeman, Senator Rachel Withers, Senator Priscilla Moreno. Co-sponsors Climate Justice League. Whereas, in its 2022 report, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change declared that we must reduce our global greenhouse gas emissions by at least 50% by 2030. Governor Brown's executive order 2004 calls for the state of Oregon to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions and at least 45% below 1990 emission levels by 2035. Hitting the targets in Governor Brown's executive order would require a 52% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, as 2021 statewide emissions are 7% higher than 1990 levels. The City of Eugene's Climate Recovery Ordinance set goals to reduce community fossil fuel use by 50% of 2010 level by 2030. According to the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, the UO's boiler system is the largest single source of climate polluting emissions in Eugene. The methane boiler system that heats campus buildings accounts for 49% of the UO's total emissions. The UO's Oregon Rising Strategic Plan outlines that the University of Oregon will create and build on existing programs to develop novel and scalable approaches for mitigating the challenges of a changing climate and adapting to a rapidly evolving world. Acknowledging the UO Office of Sustainability previously administered an Environmental Issues Committee, which was a diverse group of faculty, staff, and students who identify environmental issues on campus and provide recommendations to university administration about pertinent courses of action. Whereas, in a memo addressed to President Schultz on February 5th, 2024, the Thermal Systems Transition Task Force recognized the need for decarbonization and supported thermal transition option 2B, installing an 8 megawatt electric boiler as quickly as practicable, and a continued commitment to campus decarbonization. If implemented, thermal transition option 2B would reduce the emissions from the boiler system by approximately 45%. Acknowledging, while the ASUO Senate previously passed a resolution in support of the more ambitious thermal transition option 4, it supports the Thermal Systems Task Force's recommendation of option 2B as an initial step if it is the only feasible option at this time. Therefore, let it be resolved effective immediately by the Associated Students of the University of Oregon Senate, acting under the authority of the ASUO Constitution, that, number 1, the ASUO Senate urges the UO Board of Trustees to implement the thermal system transition option 2B as rapidly as possible. The ASUO Senate calls on the UO and the Board of Trustees to allow the Thermal Systems Transition Task Force's recommendation to commit to researching how to integrate the thermal or electrical storage systems, batteries, that reduce demand during peak hours.
The ASUO Senate calls on the Office of Sustainability to follow the Thermal Systems Transition Task Force's recommendation to evaluate twice per year whether developments in emerging technologies, regulatory changes, federal and state climate or decarbonization incentives related to heat production or distribution systems, like those found at the University of Oregon, that individually or in concert with each other may be sufficient to prompt additional investments in greenhouse gas reduction. Number 4. The ASUO Senate calls on the Office of Sustainability to ensure that student voices are engaged as decision makers throughout the campus decarbonization process by meeting with the ASUO Senate and student-led environmental advocacy groups twice per term and by reestablishing the Environmental Issues Committee. Number 5. The ASUO Senate encourages the University of Oregon to minimize the use of natural gas and prioritize sustainability and carbon neutrality in all future decision-making processes. Number 6, the ASUO calls on the UO to seek out funds for the thermal transition and to pursue every possible avenue for funding, such as fundraising and securing funding from the state of Oregon, before considering a student fee. If a student fee is implemented, students should have the option to opt out of this fee. Additionally, the ASUO vehemently opposes the idea of funding the thermal transition through cuts to educational programs or university employees. The ASUO calls on the UO to enact an updated version of the Environmental Issues Committee's previously proposed internal carbon tax to finance energy efficiency projects on campus. The ASUO calls on President Schultz to use incremental strategic investment funding to limit the costs of thermal transition option 2B. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to Carl Schultz, University of Oregon President, Steve Mittal, Director of the Office of Sustainability, Jamie Moffitt, Senior Vice President for Finance and Administration, Michael Hardwood, Associate Vice President and University Architect, Steve Huerta, Chair of the University of Oregon Board of Trustees, Marcia Aaron, the University of Oregon Board of Trustees, and others as may be deemed necessary at a later date.
Second, Ramirez-Pineda.
Motion made by Withers, seconded by Husband. Is there any discussion? Husband, Mr. Ford.
Can I invite Jack Dotson up here to help me answer any questions about this resolution? I just want to say I've never met a more passionate student who has put so many dedicated hours of work into this, reading 100-page documents, really diving into the finances, the science, and I want to shout out Bella as well as Jack. Both of you put in a lot of work into this. You've been working on this for so long now, and all the work that not just you two do, but also kind of Justice League does to help better this whole community, whole university, regardless if people care about this or spend as much time as you do. This is something that affects all of us greatly, and I strongly support that this pass and go through, and we work with the president and provost office on this. I yield.
I want to ensure that it is okay for this resolution to be linked in minutes for public access.
Is there any objection? Objections.
Speaking of 100-page documents, I would like Jack to explain point number 6 on finances. I think it's something that we should know about.
Yeah. So point number 6 is basically, yeah. Sorry. Hello, Microsoft Teams. Yeah, basically, I'm not sure how much detail to go into, but the university, as I'm assuming most of you know, is not in the this year they are running a $2.3 million budget deficit, which could be targeted to a lot of things. But that's because of that. Finances are one of the main barriers to the implementation. It's not. We'll make it clear. It's not the only barrier, unfortunately, but it's one of the main barriers to this being implemented. And unfortunately, some of the university's proposals for how to finance this are like ridiculous. And one such example, the student fee, we want to make sure that we're not burdening students, there's already tuition is high and they raise it every year. And that was important to us. And we talked to a member of the Thermal Transition Task Force. I'm not going to try and remember the official name, who said that when that task force was not like tasked with looking at the finances, but they did anyway. And he said that there was a study that they found that was like directly related to this that said that, you know, if students, if there was a student fee, it could work with an opt-out option where, you know, if someone like could not pay, they would be able to opt out, and that most people would. That being said, we still want to emphasize that, you know, we're very much dissuading university putting a student fee on this. It's been very eye-opening to meet with some members of admin and find out that even though they've been working on this since Climate Action Plan 2 was passed in 2019, they have not implemented this in any of their fundraising efforts. They have not, you know, gone to the state legislature for this until those few of us from Climate Justice League are going to meet with some legislators next week. We are able to arrange that, which I'm very hopeful for. But anyway, that's kind of the point of this, is we want them, the university hasn't tried to find real solutions for this financially. And if they would actually try, they could. So that's the point of this, is we don't, you know, we want them to find the options that, and we don't know exactly what those are right now, but we want them to find the options that have the least burden on students and no burden on educational aspects of the university. As for the 2 bullet points, these were, the first one talks about implementing an updated version of the Environmental Issues Committee's previously proposed internal carbon tax. Basically, in 2014, the Environmental Issues Committee, they made a bunch of really awesome proposals, most of which weren't implemented by the university. It's a little disheartening to read their reports. They proposed that the university, basically for each ton of emissions released, they would set aside a certain amount of money, and then that money could be used to finance projects that could then cut the emissions. That led to a massive study that was funded by the Office of Sustainability. It's actually footnote 11, it's linked on there. Anyway, that just studied the receptiveness of people on campus to this and to various different forms of what that would look like. It didn't make an official recommendation, but it just, it was here's a bunch of different ways that, this internal revenue generation could look like. And there's some very promising stuff in there. That point is purposefully a little bit vague of calling on them to enact an updated version because, obviously that's, there's some discretion in that for what the university can do. But that's also important because, if the university is constantly setting aside a little bit of money, that would mean that they aren't burdened if there's a huge infrastructure upgrade with, a huge chunk of the budget, well, it wouldn't actually be a huge chunk of the budget. But anyway, it just makes it easier. It's easier to accumulate money over time than it is to try and get that money all at once. And then the last point, ASUO calls on President Scholz to implement or to use incremental strategic investment funding to limit the cost of thermal transition option 2B. Basically, the president has this was presented to the board by members of admin as a way of basically, because the annual cost of this option 2B would put part of the system on the electricity grid, because energy prices fluctuate a little bit year to year. Basically, this would say let the president use, depending on the year, some of he has a $2 million a year that he can spend however he wants. And we basically, use that in various amounts in various years, depending on energy prices, to make this more easy to implement. Again, I just want to reiterate, this was a proposal by admin to the board. and yeah, we think it's an important part of this.
Thank you. I know you already explained that to the board of student trustees, but I thought it would be great to share it to all of Senate.
Yeah, Jack kind of touched on it in the end, but I thought it was important to include this because the board of trustees got the presentation about how to fund this, and it was laying off faculty, a student fee, or the president's fund that couldn't cover all of it. So I think it's really important to note that there are funding options outside of that, and while we think that this is very important to push for, we don't want it to be a burden on students or faculty or like learning experiences, educational programs.
Just to add something real quick. Again, that presentation that Bella just mentioned, that was like if they were going to pay for this entirely using the general fund, which as I mentioned is running a deficit this year. That's why we really wanted to emphasize them using fundraising options or trying to get money from the state. Obviously there's not going to be one perfect solution, but if they can find, money from different places, we want just to emphasize that they would try to look for money. Maybe they could find some.
Oh.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I noticed that the UO Office of Sustainability is usually referred to in the past tense. I was just curious, what happened to them?
They're still around.
Oh.
They just the Environmental Issues Committee is no longer a thing. And it's more that they were referring to things they did in the past.
Okay, what happened to the environmental issues?
I'm going to be honest, they got rid of it. I'm not entirely sure why. It was a thing from 1997 to 2016. Coincided around when Schill took over, though I don't know enough to say whether that was him. I will say though, they did continue having at various points after that they did have committees with faculty and staff and students on it. After Climate Action Plan 2 in 2019, they had this group that was it was about implementing the plan that got scrapped with COVID, but then it kind of came back with the Thermal Transition Task Force, and that ended a year ago, and there's nothing right now. And so that would be great if there was something, because then students can have more oversight over these processes, and hopefully you wouldn't just keep kicking the can down the road.
Awesome, I yield.
Last is me. I just have a question. Is there a price by? Of course, this is part of the answer. Is there a price option to be?
Yeah. It would be. It depends on how they pay for it. It would likely be if they the most likely thing they would debt service the initial infrastructure upgrade, and it would be between 3.5 and $5.4 million a year. That's including the debt service of that initial infrastructure upgrade, as well as the energy costs, because energy from the electric grid is more expensive than our current hedge contracts with Northwest Natural, the natural gas company. That being said, natural gas prices, are going to increase, and also that contract, we are getting an insanely good deal right now, and that's not going to be the case for. I don't know when the current contract ends, but they said this at their December meeting, the Board of Trustees, that when they have to renegotiate a new contract, it will be they'll have to pay a lot more for the gas. There was something else I was going to say. I don't remember. That sounds like a lot of money, and it is, and that's why we're focused on trying to, and to not put the burden on students and the educational aspects of this university. But also, it's worth noting that for this fiscal year, the capital construction budget was over $220 million.
Yeah.
It's
okay. So it's
3.5 to 5.4 million in additional annual operating costs compared to business. The other option.
Yeah. Initial infrastructure upgrade is $17.5 million, but they would debt service that. So they would be paying, that would be like a little over $1 million a year. But that's included in the 3.5 to 5.4.
According to my notes from our thermal task force meeting on October 13th, so this is not the most updated number, but it was the upfront cost was $77 million.
Really?
Yeah, at least that was what it was. I don't know why I can't find my notes from like the February meetings, but
That's one hell of a big sale.
Yeah. Hang on.
I don't know where.
The numbers I'm using were the ones that they used at the Board of Trustees meeting in December.
Those are definitely more updated.
I didn't mean to get us lost in the numbers, but thank you for providing the information.
Yeah. Be on the website. To scroll like 2/3 of the way down through the 200-page document.
The question has been called. Now vote. Peters.
Aye.
Bo.
Aye.
Aye. Brenna.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez-Pineda.
Aye.
Nagarajan. Aye. Wu. Asbeth.
Aye.
Agkaluna. Scrum.
Aye.
Dillon. Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
Bellman.
Aye.
Ducharme.
Aye.
I say aye as well.
Thank you.
I now compel the chair of the committee to have the committee meet within 72 hours. Vice President Fox.
Hello, everyone. So as you all know, the first update is probably the most recent one. We all just came back. I just came back and so did Talik from DC to lobby this past week. So us and 8 other members from the executive branch, 2 of which are in this room, not in the lobby, spent the past week in Washington, DC lobbying to our state senators and members of Congress, yes, on several different priorities, individually through UO and also alongside ABTS, Association of Big Ten Students. It was a really, really good time. A lot of good work was done. Unlike or kind of a pivot from fall term with our legislative priorities, a lot of the actions that we've been trying to make has been more of protection against cuts to SNAP and other federal funding for students in this administration. So in the fall term, our goal was to kind of like extend or expand a lot of the things that we could do, but now it's kind of just trying to be proactive and protect a lot of these things. So if you have any questions, please make sure you can ask me for more detail or any of the delegates who went. We're going to start advancing some more work in terms of coordinating with staffers about some of the letters and amendments related to acts of the Farm Bill. So more to come with that, still the early processes, but it went really well. Also, I have quite a few updates actually. So Ravi has alerted me that he is going to be reviewing the IFE authorization policy. So that is an Oregon statute that allows us to kind of have an IFE, and it's important that we do that every few years just to see like what qualifications happen for an IFE, for the budget process, for funding students. And so if you want to look through the language of that or like ask any questions or kind of revise that, please make sure to Teams him. Yes, Robbie.
I just want to clarify the IP authorization. So ORS 352-106 like authorizes the IP within the Oregon state law, and then the IP authorization policy that like we're reviewing is university policy. It's not state law. So yeah, it's just university policy. SGS is like we get it every so often. We're just double checking like compliance with the ASUO governance docs, and especially the way that it impacts the ASUO budget process.
You said it much better than I did, so I'm really glad. No, I'm really glad I was able to telephone a friend for that because I'm going over my head. So, the free legal advice, exactly. So, he is doing a damn good job with it, and please refer to him if you have any further questions with that, because I can't help you. Next is the website. We are working on the website. We are aiming to have it finished by May. It has been horrifically delayed, but it will be done by May. hopefully. So if you have any questions about that, then please go up. Cultural competency is happening this upcoming Monday. It's on your calendars, right? Right, awesome. So if you cannot make it, I hope to have heard or should have.
Everyone should be making it.
Okay, you heard it from the man himself. So we will see all of you there Monday, 6:30 p.m. Also, this is from our Secretary of DI. Noted, please don't act like you hate your life when you're there. So pretty much meaning you kind of know what it means. Don't have a really poor attitude. You're representing ASUO, and Rehearsal for Life is a student group that took the time out of their day to rehearse for this and to write scenarios and write a script. And this is their first time interacting with us. And so we actually have a reputation that's upheld when we work with student groups like this, and they tell other people about how ASUO acts and how we treat them. And so it's very, very important that you show them the respect that they have given us with coming to this event. Yeah. Winterfest will be happening on March 8th, this Saturday. Woo-hoo! It's gonna be super fun. It's gonna have free boba and Mexican food, and we also have 47 student orgs tabling at this event. So it's amazing. Ronan has said that we are in dire need of ASUO volunteers to help, and so if you want to. Mac Court, 2 to 5 p.m. If you would like to help with this event or volunteer for it and get some boba and have fun, Robbie was talking about how he and I did it too, actually. The three of us did volunteer for Winterfest last year.
Yes, we did.
I had a grand old time, and you will too if you do it with a buddy, so pull up. I can also put the sign-up sheet in the chat. Lobby Day, and Mario has already talked about March 15th. Go and sign up. Representative Hudson is going to come. Oregon State and Portland State delegation is going to pull up. It's going to be a huge, really, really fun event. A cool opportunity to talk about lobbying. Again, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Gerlinger. Coffee Corner tomorrow, 12 to 2 p.m. Last one of the term. Madison has done a fantastic job as usual.
Hey guys, can we close laptops and be respectful, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, volunteer sheet for the spring sheet. Oh my gosh. Volunteer sheet for the spring street fair is out. So sign up. It's going to be replacement of your office hours. More to come with that. Crew neck should be open soon. So we have our crew necks, but we have to get the POs processed for them. So you'll be able to actually have them shortly. Okay. Wait. I think that. Yeah, also one last thing, I want to mention the Diversity Action Committee is hosting a mixer event to kind of quell some of the anxieties that's happening with a lot of the cultural or student leaders who are questioning what's going to happen with federal funding for affinity spaces, the multicultural center. All these spaces that we're having, they're under threat, obviously, and a lot of people are super anxious because the university hasn't really spoken out against it for varying reasons too, which we can also talk about in the future. But ASUO wants to kind of host a space for these students who are leading these student orgs to kind of like ask their questions. I've met with Yvette, the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion on campus, and so she kind of has a lot of good answers about what funding is going to look like for these spaces, what the next year will look like. So make sure to tell your friends about it, and we're going to have it the first week of spring term. Any questions? Sorry, I don't want any balls. Great, thanks.
Deputy Speaker Tiffany.
All right, PFC update. Follow the Insta if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure Anthony can see who does and doesn't follow. End of the year reports will be conducted spring term, week 2 through 5. PACs will be reaching out to their orgs about that and asking them very politely to come into their end of the year report meetings because they are required this year. So if anybody asks, please tell them. And then PFC is going to be talking about a potential stipend appeals committee, just with a lot of stipend issues that are going on that we, Raina and I talked about last week. And then PFC will be meeting Monday at 5:30 for the rest of the term. We might make the updates later. Oh, wait, sorry. And then And then I totally forgot, but one thing about stipends that I just kind of want everybody to be aware of if there's any questions is that K-Air was under the impression that they were a tier 3 organization this year, but they are not. I believe that they're like tier 1 or tier 2, one of those. Peter says tier 2. Thank you. And long story short is that they're currently talking to business affairs, and I think their tag or somebody on PFC, not me, about having to possibly pay back stipends that were taken out either like one of these past few months. I think it totaled to an amount of like $780 or something. But the thing is that like they don't have funds for that in their ledger, and so we are currently in the works of trying to figure out how to help that situation. But I just wanted to get that on everybody's page in case there are questions about it or that comes to credit. Anyway, now I yield.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Two things for CFC. I don't know if anyone saw in their emails that there is a new Uber voucher in your all's emails. Finally, the ASUO healthcare rides is finally public. So that is a strong. Bureaucracy of that one was fun. And then so basically just to explain what that is, so if anyone asks you, it's 20, so you get 2 rides, $25 per ride. The 3 locations are the 2 hospitals, so Mackenzie, Willamette, and Riverbend, and then also the Planned Parenthood. So you get 25 on the way there, 25 on the way back, and I was helped by choosing those locations by SHAC, Student Health Advisory Committee, so thank you to them. And yeah, we're going to kind of monitor that and see how that goes, see how many people are using it. If we want to expand it to other places like urgent cares or pharmacies, kind of going to monitor that program as it comes. And then alternative co-op funding working group is meeting at 2:30 tomorrow. Teams me if you'd like to join. And it will be in the office and online. Thank y'all.
Yes, so DFC met on Monday to discuss forensics and the forensics working group. And Kyle would like me to tell you all to join the forensics working group. There aren't many people on it right now. And we're gonna meet next Monday at 4, I believe, during regular DFC time. And the hope is that we'll come up with a recommendation for the major trauma forensics by the end of the term. And then on the topic of resolutions, there's 2 resolution working groups. One for the student stipend solution working group to figure out the stipend issue specifically with multicultural orgs. And then the other one is the new denouncing the administration's actions first 50 days. And that's all. Thank you.
University Senate did not meet this week, so we will go to the chair.
Academic committee is hard at work planning our academic fair. So exciting what's going to happen. Week 1 of spring term on Thursday. For most of the day on the EMU Green, there's going to be petting zoo, games, so many fun things. Each academic senator is going to have a table representing their major with student resources, with club, academic club information. So we will be sending out a sign-up sheet. If you want to volunteer for something else, hopefully it'll be sunny and nice. Great way to engage with students in the EMU Green, help them get access to resources. Advisors will also be there, which would be great. So look out for that sign-up sheet. And then also if you're involved in any other spaces on campus and want to promote those resources to students or just promote them, come talk to me because I would love to get as many, should I get some supportive resources for students.
Sorry, it's 2 to 2:30, just for I would specify that. Thank y'all.
Potter had to leave. I feel like she would tell you to sign in your office hour and don't forget to sign out. Turn around. Deputy Speaker.
Also the speaking rights. Okay. I'm back. So the interns, Logan, Emily, and I have been working on this fun little survey for student orgs or anybody that ASUO really represents. I don't have a better title for it other than like a complaint form. I feel like that's really negative. I mean, positive things could also go into it if you're doing a great job. But yeah, I'll just walk you guys through it. So it just has who was involved in this incident, would you like to name who's involved, where does this occur? Please describe your complaint or feedback. Maybe that's a better term. Would you like to have, basically for context is there's an oversight, there's supposed to be like some type of committee that is supposed to take care of these reports and whatnot. I'll explain more in depth later. I see people being like, what the fuck? Sorry. Would you like to have a follow-up meeting with the committee or anybody on ASUO about this? All of these responses will be confidential. Whoever responds to it, please provide either your personal and organizational email and name. This is just in case people want to stay anonymous, if they want to come forward as themselves, if they would like to, be represented as the org up until a potential meeting or whatnot, if they want to make a complaint as an org, etc. And then just, is there anything else that you would like the community to know? It could be like ASUO sucks or whatever. But basically we're making this, we decided to make this so that orgs, have more of an avenue to give feedback to ASUO, whether that be positive or negative. It doesn't have to just be negative. And just providing more accessibility to that. And so if you want to see it or if you have any suggestions, please feel free to let us know. And shout out to Morgan and Emily for coming up with questions.
So 2 questions. One, will this be available for departments as well, or is it like anybody who's interacting with ASUO, or is it just for like clubs and
the primary target was clubs, just because that's who we interact with the most. I think that's like the majority of people who have thoughts and opinions about ASUO, especially very vocal ones, speaking from personal experience. But it could totally be for departments and other people like students.
My second question was, when does this go live?
I think we're still trying to figure things out, and I think with the added addition of just general people on campus, probably a pushback a little bit, and then we also still need to talk about how the longevity of this and how this is going to be carried forward in years. But I would expect within the next few months.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. This is awesome and super good way to streamline it. Who's handling these issues when it does go live? Like, is it the 3 of you that are going to then be in contact with somebody, or what if it is anonymous? Like, how do you go about handling that? Is it going to be you doing the majority of that front work for that, or are you still working out those details?
We're still working the primary details. One idea was to kind of have Nicole handle the form, or at least keep the form running, not necessarily responding to people or whatnot, just making sure. All right, that I can speak on this. Okay, me too. Becky asked us to. Becky came me today and asked me actually to sort of handle this. Okay. I think hopefully I won't be bearing the brunt of the disappointment or whatever, or the glowing reviews, if that's what it is. Yeah, I think I will be handling a lot of this, and then my fellow clerks as well as I train them. Nicole will probably your point of contact for any super glaring questions in the meantime, but I should know more later. Thank you for that clarity, and I guess just for more context is the original idea, because I actually did not know that, was that there would be kind of a separate accountability committee, not just created of people on Ledge or exec or whatever, but kind of a culmination of all ASUO branches that would keep this information confidential and would work with student orgs or people who had complaints or positive reviews about that kind of stuff. But sorry, one thing to clarify, I won't be fixing the complaints. I will just be fielding them and then deciding who to send them to, basically. So y'all will still be in charge of all of that. I just sort of decided just. I'm gonna stop talking. Any other question?
This does seem really cool. This might be slightly off topic, but is there like a way, like a version of this for like issues that's already present? Like if someone, say, wanted to put mirrors in a parking garage, or put like, like, is there a place where like a forum where people can submit ideas for stuff they want us to do?
This could be the same form. I mean, the great thing about the MPA program is that you learn a lot about Qualtrics, but those also seem like things that aren't necessarily ASO related or Avial UNT.
For like on-campus infrastructure, you can go onto the maps, like on the UOrgan app or on UOrgan website, and you can request like, infrastructure changes, or if you think there's like a safety issue or something, like mirrors in a parking garage, if you wanted that, you could input that, and then campus planning and facilities management would see it.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
And I would just say generally, like if folks have ideas, they can always like email us. The original idea behind this was that like folks, the only way to hold ASUO officers accountable right now is with the grievance process, which is very much like puts the individual on blast. This is not supposed to do that. This is supposed to be so folks feel more comfortable submitting, sorry.
To answer Rain, it was kind of like my academic project to do something like that, to just have a general directory for students. That kind of took a pause because of the general ASUO website is not going to be finished for a long time, but if that's something that people think should happen sooner, I can get going on that again. But yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll also send the version of the survey that you can take into the chat so you can mess around with it a little bit. Please don't say anything mean. Okay, and then my very, very, very last update is that there's this really cool, awesome little event called, I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's called the Mother's Day Powwow. And it's actually taking place on the weekend of Mother's Day, from Friday, May 9th to Saturday, May 10th, with free food and a salmon bake on May 11th. I don't know who's making the salmon this year, so it might be a little bit up in the air about how good it is. Speaking like I'm a professional, which I am. And it was a part of like the Protect the Power resolution that ASUO people would volunteer at this event. The volunteer form is not out yet. Will be out soon. So please keep an eye out for that. But I wanted to bring this up because it coincides with street fair, and oh my god, another part of the Protect the Power resolution is that if the street fair is on the same week as the powwow, then it's supposed to lead up to the powwow. That's crazy. Anyway, shout out to Monty Soul for making this poster. She did a great job on it. I love it. And that's my last update. If you have any questions about the powwow, please let me know.
Okay, I'll keep it brief. I was gonna, oh yes, okay, so what I did want to say, I just want to remind folks, like, read the engage forms before Senate, read the engage forms before talking to boards. They spend a lot of time. I don't know if any of you have filled this out, they're really annoying. And so when folks are asking questions, I can be ready. Shows that you're unprepared. I want to share that cultural competency. Next week, you all are required to be there. You can't be, things me immediately. Yeah, and I also would just want to say I'm super thankful to be able to go to DC last week with my colleagues and meet with a lot of other folks doing similar works to us around the country. And I look forward to all the collaboration we're going to have in the future. Yeah, and that's all for me. Oh, and then also next Wednesday is our last Senate meeting for the term. Finals, it's great. So one more, and then we got it. Good luck if midterm for finals are coming in for you. Other than that, we're just waiting on that.
February 19th, 2025.
Second Grove.
Motion made by Dylan, second by Peters, all in favor?
Aye. Move to adjourn.
Hold on. Everybody stop. Wait.
And it will be in order.
Yeah, it's.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You didn't update the agenda.
Yeah.
19 is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I move to amend my motion. I move to approve the minutes from February 26, 2025.
Second,
Motion made by Dylan, seconded by Peters, all in favor.
Aye. I move to adjourn. I move to adjourn.
Motion made by Dylan, seconded by Peters, all in favor. Great, the Senate will stand adjourned.
That's like.